Welcome everybody to the Round Robin Comic Book Podcast, the show where we discuss comics in general.
Yeah, we're getting rid of the format. So
we're getting rid of the format, so
we're just going to talk about comics.
We're just going to talk about comics from now on because it's going to make it easier.
So what we got for today?
Today we will be listening to Listening, yes, we'll be listening, everybody.
Well, that reminds me.
Blah, blah, blah. We'll be talking about our first comics that we ever got. So with mine, it was Uncanny X-Men 276. Ryan, what was yours?
G.I. Joe 55.
Nick?
Daredevil 208.
Nice. And then we will be talking about Murder Falcon number 7 and
Scooby-Doo Apocalypse.
Scooby-Doo Apocalypse number 36. The way we're going to start this off is we're going to go oldest to newest. So that would mean that Daredevil number 208 is up first.
All right, well, there's not much really to talk about this issue, other than it's written by Harlan Ellison, who, if you know Star Trek, wrote The City on the Edge of Tomorrow, which is the time travel episode.
Nice.
They also have a comic book about that now.
And he's very angry about the screenplay that they did. That is completely wrong than what he wrote.
Is that Star Trek 4?
We're going to go around the sun, Jim.
No.
It's it's where they go, and there's that circle. That's the time.
Oh yeah,
bubble,
yeah.
You can see through time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Never seen an episode of Star Trek, so I don't know.
What? Blasphemous. I was more of a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Me too. But I like them both. I'm not on one camp or the other.
I'm not either, just never got into Star Trek.
I was until Next Generation came out. I couldn't stand Star Trek, and then I was like, oh, this one's actually really good.
Oh,
and then I went back and watched the old ones, and I'm a Next Generation guy.
So am I. I think, like I said, we're all pretty much in this.
You turn it down.
In the same age group.
Turn it down. What?
Take 2. Nick, edit here. No, we're roughly the same age, so we grew up. Hey, it's a new Star Trek, and then I think I watched every episode of it, even on reruns. I would watch it.
I just couldn't do Voyager.
My mom liked Voyager. I think that's why I didn't watch it.
I was really excited for Deep Space Nine, and then that thing just crapped out.
That one crapped out really bad. I was watching it a little while ago on Netflix, and it just went like crapper. I thought it was going to be really cool because they were going to have like an outpost, and it was going to be like, something that wasn't done before in Star Trek, and it went.
Well, that's disappointing.
So the issue starts out with Daredevil spots a little girl, but she's a little off. Like, he can't really tell a heartbeat, and she's like, come help me, follow me, help me. So, stupidly, like he's never met Arcade before, follows a little girl down into like a weird, like a cellar in a house, and then the house just starts trying to kill him.
Murder house is what I called it. Murder house.
It's like, no, like, this is straight up. Like, if you read X-Men before, this is Arcade.
Yeah, it is.
This is Arcade's murder world.
Yep.
But comes to find out that it's not. And it's just some old lady who...
It feels like Arcade. No.
Who's getting revenge for her son.
You killed my son.
But what's cool is, like, you know, like, what Daredevil can go through.
Yeah.
Like, he can go through a lot.
Especially with being off a little bit from, he got hit by a dart and messing with his other senses there. And
yeah. He was all drugged up. He was like, oh, what did you do to me? I can still see what's going on.
Was the gun a real thing? Was he actually inside of a gun, or is this just how it felt to him?
Not sure. It makes you think he's inside of a gun.
It might be hallucinogenic, that he's actually just in a steel chamber.
That's kind of what I took from it.
But you don't know. Because that part has always gotten me like, is that actually a gun there?
Well, once you saw the rest of the house, you could see that it would possibly be something that could happen.
Right. I mean, there's like like a sand trap.
Yep.
Right. A quicksand trap.
How do I get out of quicksand?
Then there's
In
a
a
giant.
Swim.
Then there's a giant bullseye that he has to hit,
Yep.
but dodge all the spikes.
Yeah. The guy had to go through a lot in Murder House.
The snakes in a vent
Yeah.
that he may go through.
The wall of knives
Yep.
that collapse on him.
Okay, going on the wall of knives. I was looking at that. He gets that one spot. It rotates on him. Did you get the impression he knew that was there the whole time, or was it he just lucked out and that's where he grabbed? I took it as he kind of lucked out and is the one piece of wall that moved on him and flipped.
Nah, man, he's a super ninja.
No, I'm betting he lucked out.
He lucked out.
He lucked out. But the house is ginormous, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that is...
It reminded me of the Winchester house.
Oh, yeah. It's like room after room of just nothing but death. Yeah. I mean, that's Daredevil 20.
That's 208.
That's it.
So, my experience with Daredevil, minimal. Picked up the Kevin Smith run and ran through all that with Bendis and
Yep.
Brubaker and Fraction. Love that series.
I'm on the second book of that one.
I did some Wade stuff.
Yeah.
Thought that was really good. This is my first forte into old Daredevil.
Early Daredevil.
Yeah, this is when Matt Murdock was dating Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah.
Dating Black Widow.
This was an amazing book. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm actually going to go out and buy it now.
You can keep that one.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You want that one too?
Yeah,
That's
that's
fine.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Because this was amazing.
Yeah, I like it.
Fantastic first issue for somebody to pick up and read.
And if you guys want to borrow 209,
I may need to borrow that
Yeah.
because I was kind of iffy on the back end of that. But you brought up, well, I have two questions. One, he made the comment that he's under the wealthy estates of Riverdale. Was that kind of like a nod towards Archie a little bit?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. Was wondering about that. And then secondly, I knew Natasha Romanoff was a part of Daredevil. I didn't know how for how long.
Yeah.
Apparently that started up around issue 81 of Daredevil.
Because it
and
was
then-
Daredevil and Black Widow.
And he
For a
gets
while.
And that was mid 90s, early hundreds, and then
he gets the crap kicked out of him in what is it? Guardian Devil Fire. He like throws the baby off the building. And she's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Guardian Devil.
that was the Kevin
That's the
Smith.
Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She's like, "What are you doing?" And she starts kicking the crap out of him.
Yeah, but she's a huge part of the storyline.
Yeah.
It was really cool because nowadays people just know her from
The
Black
Avengers.
Widow,
Yep.
Avengers movies. She's had some fantastic runs individually in some books.
She's gone through a lot of men in the Marvel Comics universe.
She has.
But so is Daredevil's gone through a ton of women, too. So
Yeah, and
he is the...
Yeah.
He's a slut of Marvel.
he's like Tony Stark. Yeah.
But if you... Okay.
He's not a slut?
Tony in the books,
Not a slut.
not a slut. And he's not funny.
No, he's
He
not.
has no personality.
You ever read Demon in a Bottle? Oh my god.
So, yeah. That's my Daredevil.
Nice.
It's a fantastic book.
I
loved
liked it. I liked it a lot.
So you want to know what grinds my gears on it?
What grinds your gears on this issue, Nick?
The shark.
The shark?
There's a shark in here
With
without
no
water.
With no water?
Like,
Well, that's why it died.
right. But it's dying. Like she flushed the water out just so it could,
he could
mess
see
with
it
him.
dying.
And the fact if you've never read Daredevil before, the climax makes no sense. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so she's the mom of a supervillain, but they don't ever drop the name of the supervillain that she's the mom of.
So clearly she had a lot of money and had nothing better to do with it.
And this really made there's an ad for Power Man and Iron Fist in here that made me want to buy Power Man and Iron Fist forever.
Yeah.
Like when I was a little kid, I was like, that looks amazing.
And they set it up just so it looks like it's part of the an actual
Yeah, it
comic
looks like
book.
it's part of the comic.
So I'm reading. I'm like, where'd Power Man and
Yeah,
Iron
why
Fist come
is
from?
Power Man in here? Yep, I did the same thing.
But yeah, like that's
Yeah,
awesome.
nice.
Good stuff. So on to G.I. Joe 55.
G.I. Joe number 55. Unmasked. That's
Did you ever find it?
No,
Yeah.
I borrowed Ryan's.
My first book, I remember even where I got it at, in Oskaloosa, Kansas, at a drugstore after a dentist appointment, because I actually did well at the dentist, so I was able to get a comic book afterwards.
It's funny how your and my story kind of connect there. So,
And I thought it was a cool looking cover. I always liked the cartoon. I thought it was a cool looking cover. It has Destro, Cobra Commander, and Snake Eyes getting set to remove their masks.
Yep.
A little teaser into the book.
A little teaser?
what I don't understand is if you've seen the movie, what the hell happened? In the movie, he turns into a snake.
But he was a man.
I was the man. I was the man.
So I think the cartoon and the comics don't go together.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, that doesn't really mesh right
No,
with
it
the
was
series.
just, I was just like, how's he human?
If I remember right, the movie came out in 87, so this was before 87.
Right.
So he could have still been human at this point.
Yeah, he could have.
But then you got to worry about Cobra Law, and like his
Cobra. La, 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 la.
it doesn't happen. It doesn't.
No, it does. I've read every G.I. Joe and Real American Hero issue, and Cobra Law never makes an appearance.
Never.
Never.
I kind of wonder. I want to meet Larry Hama and ask him about Cobra Law. Like,
I
is
would love
that-
to meet him.
What do you think about that? Is this just some stupid thing that they made up for a movie?
Well, I did some research on him, and he's pretty much written most every G.I. Joe comic. He wrote a lot of the Nom books. He does have that military background, so he can write to that easily.
Yep.
Oh, you can tell when he's
Yeah.
like this. Like, oh, you have a M520. That's not standard issue.
Isn't he on the Toys That Made Us, the G.I. Joe
Yes.
episode?
Yes, he
I
is.
thought he was.
Mhm.
That's how, yeah. And he said how he was in Vietnam and he had the background
Yep.
for everything. Yeah.
That's why nobody can do it right. Like,
Yeah.
he's the only one that you can read G.I. Joe. from.
Yeah.
Josh Blaylock did a version of it for IDW that wasn't, or Devil's Due, that wasn't horrible. I really kind of enjoyed that one too. He got me back into reading G.I. Joe. And so I went back and started getting all the rest of them. With this issue, you're going to have to forgive me. I don't remember what happened at the beginning here, but Cobra Commander and Destro are, for whatever reason, trapped in the pit and trying to get out.
It's because the what was it? The snake pit, or was it just called the pit?
It was the pit.
It was
The
just
pit.
called the pit, was destroyed.
But I can't remember what happened to make it get destroyed and why they were even
Okay.
there to begin with.
Yeah.
That's,
So
Yeah.
the pit is G.I. Joe's headquarters.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was Cobra's.
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was,
Cobra never really had a headquarters outside of Springfield.
Springfield where?
Pretty sure it's where the Simpsons are because they never once Springfield,
It's
New
one of the
Jersey or
Springfields.
something. Yeah, it's
That's why I said that. I'm like, every place that
one of them.
it always takes place in Springfield.
So they're trying to get out of the pit because it's getting destroyed. They find a drill that they can jump in and drive out because, you know, everybody's got one of those in their basement
Yep.
for those quick
Yep.
escapes.
Yep.
they got it from the Terror Dome.
I have one in mine right now, so I can get out.
Shredder left it.
What I thought was really cool about this issue was one of the characters, Grunt, is actually leaving.
He's thrown out. You're no
And-
longer a Joe.
He's no longer a Joe. And this is the only time I remember in any of the issues where a Joe leaves. They've been killed
without
and they've been, without dying.
That's what I liked about the actual G.I. Joe comic book, is it wasn't lasers flying past all the time. People actually died in the damn comic book.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
there's
I had an issue where Serpentor got an arrow in the face. Like
Yep.
Sartan shot him with an arrow through
Nice.
the
Serpentor
face.
got it. There's one issue
Making
where
me want to read it.
You should.
they got trapped in a dried boat, a little boat that broke boat wreckage or whatever, and blew up, and it killed like 12 Joes and a couple of Cobra guys, and that's when I was like, oh wow, this is kind of something else, because up to that point, I didn't think people died in comic books.
Yeah.
Dr. Venom's a running character through here, even though he never makes an appearance. He was just the previous Mindbender character, Dr. Mindbender character. So he has the brain meld machine or whatever it's called. And they have Flint, supposedly Flint, locked up in it.
Yeah. How come he's not sweating?
That's right.
He's not showing any signs of stress at all.
Not at all. And why is his face all rubbery? Aha!
It's Snake Eyes.
I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yep, that Scooby-Doo moment.
Yep.
I like how Cobra Commander and Destro show up at a mall where there's all the clothes that they could ever possibly want. They land right next to a beauty salon and a clothing store.
And a theatrical supply store
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
called Flip Your Wig.
Flip your wig, man.
Now, the book is a little bit dated. They have that whole fun 80s look way back when.
Even they were like, I think this is too retro.
This is too
Yeah.
retro.
Like- but, okay, so the cover shows Cobra Commander taking his mask off, right?
Right.
Inside, he's in shadows. And Destro's like, oh, so that's what you look like. And we're like, I want to see what
I
it looks
want
like.
to see
Yeah.
what Cobra Commander looks like.
And I want to see what Destro looks like.
Yep, that's what I
Nope.
was thinking too.
Nope.
Or
No.
Snake Eyes. I'm gonna
Snake
take
Eyes,
Snake Eyes.
he makes you want to vomit. I still
That's-
want to see what he looks
Yeah.
like.
They've done that's one of their they've done a good job with those, keeping those secret, so you don't know what they do look like without their masks. I have no idea what was going on with Sierra Gordo, but that thing has been happening for ages. Apparently, it's a very political landhold that they want to take, and Culber's already has activity there, and G.I. Joe's got 4 guys hanging around there constantly, rotating.
They don't even have a Pterodome in there?
They do,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
I thought it was pretty funny. What was it?
Well, just looked at Snake Eyes.
They have a counter group for the. How did
They
they
have
put
a
that?
counter-revolutionaries for the revolutionaries.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
that's too many revolutionaries.
Yeah. Quit saying the word revolutionary.
They were leaving the counter-revolutionaries.
And I did not know.
And they even bring up the fact that they're all freedom fighters.
Yeah.
You know,
Every single one.
now
of them.
they're just all terrorists.
Yep.
Like, just terrorist.
I love how Cobra Commander and Destro get pulled over by the one cop that knows his kid.
I
Right?
Thought, I thought it was funny that
Daniel?
Cobra Commander was a
Car salesman.
car salesman.
That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's canon that he's a
that he was a
Yep.
used car
and
salesman.
then he started a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
I just love how he did all the paperwork to steal the
Yeah,
car,
deal-
so it's legit.
And they steal a Corvette. They don't steal a jalopy. They steal a very
Top of the line.
ostentatious, put yourself out there vehicle.
Oh, yeah. You can't think Destro and Cobra Commander are going to take like a Chrysler 200.
But if they were like trying to be inconspicuous and blend in, why would you pick a canary yellow Corvette?
At least a Fiero.
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
could do a Fiero. Come on, man. It's like Pontiac's Ferrari.
Have you seen Cobra's vehicles? They all stand out.
Yeah, I know. But, you know.
He's not good in camouflage. Just wait till you see what he wears after this.
So the Joes that are on Sierra Gordo end up rescuing Snake Eyes. Give a little bit of a backstory about how Stalker owes Snake Eyes because Stalker tried to leave him in Nam, and Storm Shadow went back, and the helicopter pilot refused to take off until they got all their guys. So a little bit backstory there. Then Stalker gets hit, so then Snake Eyes has to go save him again. So
I thought he was dead. Like, all right, they killed another Joe.
He got shot through the heart, right?
And he's still alive.
Pretty
You're gonna
obvious, like right through the chest.
You're going to make it, bro. It's just a flesh wound.
well, clearly those guys are better shots than stormtroopers.
Yeah. They can see.
Ends up wrapping up that Cobra Commander finds out about his son, who has been in a coma for ages, and goes to the hospital, and just like the Tin Man, he has a heart, and starts getting all mushy about
I should have
Billy
been
being...
nicer to him and loved him more.
But if you listen to what he did to him,
Yeah.
you imprisoned him, outlawed him, and even subjected him to Dr. Venom's brainwave scanners. You drove him into a nightmare existence.
Way to go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
So he's going to apologize while the kid's in a coma. That makes everything better.
That's Father of the Year material right there.
And then Destro bolts.
He's like, see you later. Peace out, dude.
You know,
The end.
So what grinds my gears about this book, or in general, is who's sponsoring Cobra? I mean, you would think at some point they would be like, we don't have any wins on the book. Let's put our money in somebody else. But they keep on having new hideouts and recruiting the best of the worst.
Yeah. It's Al-Qaeda.
It's corporations. It's Tomax and Zaymont.
The Taliban.
Well, the Baroness probably has a lot of money. Destro,
Destro
probably has a lot of
but-
money.
Her name
but
is
they weren't-
Baroness.
Yeah, and Destro is attached at this point, but he kind of goes off and does his own thing at one point. So
I liked how he was making fun of Cobra Commander's outfit. And Cobra Commander's like, yeah, you're the guy who still wears gold chains and your shirt button
Shirt unbuttoned.
unbuttoned.
So, on the who funds who thing, so G.I. Joe was supposed to be S.H.I.E.L.D. when they brought it out originally, and Cobra was supposed to be Hydra. Hasbro came to them and was like, we have this G.I. Joe property that we want to use.
right.
Please make a comic book of it. And Marvel was already making in the process of creating a Hydra versus S.H.I.E.L.D. book.
And that
And they
took
were like,
over for it.
Yeah, we'll just recall it G.I. Joe, and this is be a Cobra. So that's why there's really no talk about funding for Cobra, because they're already created.
Just every issue I read where Cobra loses, it's like, seriously, why would you keep investing in this group?
Right, and like, why? Okay, so he's really good at selling, apparently. Really good that he could go to some illegal arms conference and start buying equipment.
I really want to see a book where Cobra Commander is selling somebody on
Yeah.
joining the team, and
Why don't you come and join us?
This Hith tank barely used for $3,000.
low mileage.
Comes with air conditioning standard.
But I think the most impressive thing is Marvel held this for so long. They went up to, I think it's 154 issues. And then IDW picked it up, and they continued the numbering on it. Same writer. And it's been a fun ride through the whole thing. And that's the book that got me going on it.
Cool. All right. So I guess I'm up now, huh?
You're up.
All right. My first comic was Uncanny X-Men number 276. It was written by Chris Claremont and drawn by Jim Lee. And after reading up on Claremont, this was coming towards the end of his run with the X-Men.
Was this the book you got signed?
Yep, this was the book I got
Where
signed.
he opened it up and made sure
that he actually signed it. Yeah, this was the one. I remember, like you, Ryan, you got yours at a drugstore. I got mine at Kohl's Pharmacy on Q Street. Like 100, it's just past 120th and Q Street. There used to be like a little strip mall there. And
Yep.
there was a drugstore in there. I don't remember if it was Kohl's or if it was something else, but this is a lot of information to digest for a first comic book. But it does have some of my favorite characters in it. The Starjammers, the Skrulls, even though the Skrulls are going to get beaten to the ground now, and then the Shi'ar. So you start out the book, Gambit and Jubilee are hiding because they're trying not to be seen or heard by the world's foremost telepath on the planet, Charles Xavier.
What, you don't think that hiding in a sewer system will keep you from Xavier?
No.
Is it lead based? Maybe can he not?
Can't detect because it has special powers? No.
Maybe it's just one of Gambit's abilities that they always bring up. Like, he always has new abilities.
Yeah.
Oh, he's psychic shielded.
He's psychic shielded. He can touch Rogue.
Do they have a Juggernaut helmet on?
Maybe that's what his mask is made out of.
Then you got Gladiator holding a Deathbird, which I always found after getting this comic book, I kind of went back and read more. And Deathbird and Lilandra were always fighting for the crown, the throne of the Empire. And Professor X can walk. He has full use of his legs. Gladiator goes all Billy Badass on it and rips her feathers out of her back.
Which is a thing for X-Men books.
Yeah.
Because they did the same thing to Angel.
They did the same thing to Angel, and that's how he became Angel of Death. And then at this point, Gambit's like, I can't hide anymore. It goes with wearing a uniform. Let's go.
I'm going to be a hero.
I'm going to be a hero. And so they attack him, and it's just blah, 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 blah. And all Jubilee is whining, doing his whining the whole time. And then you get a little further, and he's Gladiator's still beating up. He's like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And then Leela Cheney shows up out of nowhere and goes like, let's get out of here. I'm your empress. You swore an allegiance to me. And then you switch over to Wolverine, Storm, Banshee, one of
Forge.
Nick's favorite characters, Forge. And I was like reading this, right? And I'm like watching, and they're having this lovey-dovey moment. Oh, Charles, I love you. And then Wolverine's like, something's not right. And then he absolutely guts Charles Xavier, and you're like, what the hell are you doing? Right? You don't know yet.
Yeah, what's funny is if this is not a clone or anything else, he just straight up murdered him.
Murdered him, yep.
But if you read the new stuff, like, Cyclops does the exact same thing.
Yep.
But Cyclops is an asshole.
Yeah.
I was so confused through this whole book.
Well, it's like I told Nick, you have to read, basically you have to read from 273 all the way to 277, right? The story starts in Uncanny 273, 74, 75. 76, he kills the Xavier. And then 277 comes out, right? Well, I got 276, and I thought it was a monthly book then, and it was bi-weekly. And
So
I
you
go,
missed it.
the next time I go, it's Uncanny 278, and they're going into the Muir Island saga. I'm like, okay, I didn't know what happened. For like 5 or 6 years, I didn't know what happened to the end of this story.
Because I thought Xavier was a clone at this point.
At this point, you just thought he was a clone?
Yeah, I know all the characters. I understood all that. But Xavier's walking. I thought he might have been a clone. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I can buy that. I had no idea that was a real Xavier.
Well, hold on now. So you're watching, right? And Leela Cheney, however you say her name, and Deathbird show back up, and they're like two hot chicks carrying guns, right? Then you find out, Xavier wasn't Xavier. What? So Wolverine was right. The guy who was Charles Xavier was a Skrull, damn it.
Okay, that helps.
He was a Skrull. And if you read on, and they go to this, they're like, look at what your mentor Charles Xavier's done to this planet and enslaved him, and like Forge starts crying about children being murdered, and right, and you see that the relationship between Forge and Storm is starting to build, and then you find out that it's like a template machine, right?
Right, that's why I thought it was like a clone or something.
Yeah.
I still didn't connect the Skrull thing, but now that makes sense.
And the Super Skrull, that's who it is at the end, right? That's the Super Skrull.
And I was getting him confused with one of the Starjammers, the green Starjammer.
Yeah,
guy.
that showed. That's
All those characters kind
Right.
of look.
He looked
Yeah.
exactly like him.
yeah,
that's why I'm so confused. I'm like, what is happening here?
that's the leader. That's the Super Skrull. He's like the leader of the Skrulls. That's the main dude, right?
Did they even say that?
No, they
No.
don't. They don't.
It's like, no,
They-
I thought he was a Starjammer.
You got all these words in this book.
Because when a Skrull dies, they turn into a Skrull.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that.
Well, no, because they made him disappear before they could because Psylocke, or no, they didn't want to let anybody know that they were Skrulls, so the guy obliterated his body. Like, burned his body. And then you find out that everybody's been replaced by Skrulls.
I'm kind of wondering if I even read this. I'm like, I remember reading it, but I don't remember anything at the end.
Yeah, those are Skrulls, but yeah, he does look like the guy you're thinking of is Chode. What a
Okay.
name for a character. Chode.
Sounds like something off of Battletoads.
Yeah. Chode is one of the Starjammers, but this is actually a Skrull, but he does look like Chode.
Yeah, you got Zitz, you got Pimple, you got Chode.
Chode, yep. So...
Okay, so the leader of the Starjammers,
Uh-huh.
is that a clone of Forge? Because I got really confused there, too. Forge and that guy
Forge
looked
isn't
identical.
Isn't the leader of the Starjammers.
The guy with the blue headband?
Yes.
That's Corsair.
That's Scott Summers' dad.
That's Scott and Alex Summers' dad.
Okay, so is he the guy that's in this little boat thing? Because I thought that was Forge, and he's got the headband on, too.
That is Forge.
That's Forge. Does Forge have a red one on? Does he have a
You
red
can't-
Yeah,
headband?
he's got a red headband, but on this
Headband,
page,
but
it's
on-
pink.
It's pink.
But he's also wearing a blue and yellow uniform.
I did like, that's one of the things I did like about this comic was that they were starting, I'm always a fan of my favorite part of time is where they all wore the same uniform.
Which,
They actually look like a team,
yeah,
and I like that.
because Gambit threw me off, because I'm used to the pink chest plate thing or
yeah.
whatever. How long was he in the uniform?
That was the first time I ever saw him in it. It might have been 275.
Okay.
But yeah, and then they went through the whole Muir Island saga where they all dressed alike, so you could tell the difference between the X-Men and who are the good guys and who are the bad guys.
Okay.
So, lot of information and not knowing where it is, huh?
Yeah. Psylocke was... Okay, what's going on with Psylocke? She's a good guy. Why is she...
That's a clone of Psylocke as well.
Oh.
Because if you look at the end,
Skrull, sorry. Skrull.
if you look at the end, she's right there.
Oh, okay. I completely missed that because I saw Xavier at the bottom, why I thought it was a clone to begin
because
with.
there's Psylocke, Wolverine, and Jubilee all tied up right there. In the... Yeah.
Okay, to be in that, why is it necessary for him to be naked?
I don't
we
know.
just saw it with the Nick Fury...
The
verse.
Speedo? The Nick Fury Speedo?
Why does everybody need to get undressed to be put in these little machines?
I don't know.
Because it's always going to the head. You know,
I don't know. But yeah, I could see how if you hadn't read any of the story, like me when I first got it,
I was unbelievably confused. I cannot imagine what you as a child would have been.
I was confused, but I also thought it was awesome because it had, a whole bunch of information. in
Yeah.
it.
No, it was a fun read. I was just unbelievably confused. The other question I have, so you clear this on up for me. I'm sure that I probably missed something here. What happened with Gambit and Jubilee? They do the little, okay, you do your fireworks, I'm going to charge them, and then all of a sudden Jubilee's caught, Gambit poops.
Gambit's still missing. He escaped. Because I did read 277, and in 277, if you look at the cover, it's a pretty badass cover. It's Gambit and Wolverine fighting each other.
Okay.
But Gambit managed to escape, and he's trying to free the others so they can help.
Oh, okay. Because there was no panel that said they got caught. And you had no idea what was happening with Jubilee until she shows up.
Yeah.
Before going into the machine thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Gambit escapes. That's what happens with Gambit.
all right. So I should have read 277 after that. Get a little more context to it.
I thought I had it. I don't have it anymore. I managed to get... maybe I do. No, I have it. I can bring it if you really want to read it.
I almost feel like I have to after this.
All right, so what grinds my gears about this issue is poor Jubilee. And I say poor Jubilee because they make her a whiny, I can't take care of myself, I'm a noob mutant. Right? I need Wolverine to protect me, I need Gambit to protect me. And to this day, they still haven't figured out what to do with Jubilee. They made her a vampire, they gave her a child.
I'd love to see a crossover with her and Dazzler.
Yeah.
Do a Starsky and Hutch
And
Jubilee.
Boom Boom. Throw Boom Boom in there.
Boom Boom. Now, see, the problem is I don't like Jubilee, but I like Boom Boom.
You could have all three of them. One of them can actually do stuff.
Yeah. So, like I said,
But Jubilee's always been like that, even with the Wolverine
yeah,
Well, no, that was Kitty Pryde.
That was Kitty Pryde with Wolverine.
Pretty much same.
Jubilee has
They
always
treat
kind
them
of
all the
struck
same.
me as that's how I always remember her being a little bit whiny.
Kitty Pryde, they've actually in the last few years made her kind of a little bit better than she was when they first started with her.
I think what helped was when they made her a teacher in the school.
Yep.
Yeah.
With Wolverine and the X-Men.
And then she was she was the leader of the all new X-Men.
Built up the confidence a little bit, yeah.
Where, so yeah, I think that helped a lot with her. But yeah, they still don't know what to do with Jubilee. The other one, I don't know. Maybe that's just it for right now. Anything else? Anything with you guys?
Other than confusion with Chode? No.
No.
Like, I swear to God, I was like,
You thought
why,
it was Chode?
why are they on the star,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They like I said, with all those words that they wrote in this book, because there's a lot.
So, okay, I'm
They
confused.
couldn't explain who that guy was.
What is on Wolverine's forearms on the cover?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out that the other day. I was like, why does he have bracelets on it, like gauntlets
He's
on
got
his
them
arms?
up his forearms. Like they're tattoos.
Dude, does it help with his claws coming out?
What's on his stomach?
I have no idea.
Well, he had that
I'm sure he was in
samurai
some-
sash
yeah,
thing on.
Ceremonial outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe it has something to do with that. I don't
I don't know, but
I don't get the bracelets.
I don't either. I
The bracelets
never,
I don't understand.
I truly never noticed them until now. Like, when I read this again, I was like, what is up with those things? Why is he wearing bracelets? So it's one of my favorite comics. The storyline's pretty good if you can find 273, 274. I have 275. And then they decide to split the teams up after the Muir Island saga.
Is that when they go X-Men Uncanny? Okay.
Yeah, and then they got red and gold, or gold and blue, or
Red, gold, blue, astonishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is right at Claremont's end.
Claremont's End. He does the first few issues of the new X-Men run, and then
That's with Apocalypse, right?
Magneto.
And Omega Red.
Oh,
And
that's the
Omega
one
Red.
with the 4 or 5 covers or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and then he's gone.
Okay.
He leaves the book, or he's fired. I don't know. Was he fired? Pushed out? He just quit?
I don't know. There's rumors that he gets paid by Marvel not to write comics anymore.
Really?
That's a rumor. I
Well,
don't.
he's still writing
I
books.
can't substantiate.
They brought him back for a couple of books.
Right, but for
Yeah.
Marvel.
Oh. Well,
Yeah,
I
I
thought he was
saw-
he was doing some current stuff for Marvel, I thought.
Right, but he doesn't work for anybody else.
Oh, I got you.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I follow Claremont on Twitter, and
You should ask him.
He hasn't posted since like 2011, and he said he just pitched Superman to DC, and DC turned him down.
Well,
So
Interesting.
anyway, I liked it. I know you guys probably didn't, but I did.
what?
No, it was interesting. I was just very confused because
you didn't.
I don't know the backstory.
Yeah, it's the middle book, and it's always kind of crappy to come in on the middle book, not knowing what's going on in a big story arc. So,
Yeah.
all right,
No, I thought it was good to read.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, which one do we want to do now? Do we want to do Murder Falcon or Scooby-Doo?
Let's go Scooby-Doo.
All right. And we're back.
Scooby Apocalypse, right?
Scooby Apocalypse.
I bought Oberon number 3.
I was thinking about buying that, and then you're like, Orphan Age number 1 came out. I'm like, all right, Ryan, I'll get Orphan Age
If you
number
want to
1.
borrow it, you can borrow it. But I'm done. I don't need to bring it anymore.
Don't have to read anymore. Do you want me to bring over Orphan
They
Age?
brought up a trope that I cannot stand.
What'd they bring up?
I'll not bring it up unless you read it.
Do you want to borrow Orphan Age?
Sure.
All right. Would have brought it had I known.
I didn't get over
Yeah,
on 3 yet.
It was out. I saw it. And you told me to. You said, "Hey, Orphan Age is out," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a first issue. I'll get it." That bad that it made you quit, huh?
It's one of the things I just can't stand.
Okay.
It's when
You can tell me because I don't know what I'm looking for.
You will
Will I?
at the end.
Okay.
Like I understand he's a fairy. They're fairies in the world of fairy. I didn't know they were goddamn fairy godmothers, fairy godfathers.
Have you not watched Tinkerbell? That's what it is, Tinkerbell?
No. Just when you figure out who Mother May-I is at the end of it and what her job used to be, like, that's it.
Tooth Fairy.
She was the Tooth Fairy?
She's Cinderella's godmother.
Jesus.
Thank you!
There you go. You can have that back.
Done?
Yeah.
Fast read.
I knew everything I needed to know.
I saw you have that too, and I'm like, oh, I think I got that.
Do you want to borrow it? You want it?
No, Dave's pulling it for me.
I was going to say you could have it right here. All right. Let's get it on.
And we're back.
Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Return.
You not a Bill and Ted fan?
I love Bill and Ted.
So are you excited for 3?
Yes, the movie. Yes,
The movie, yeah.
The comic was absolutely
Was it
atrocious.
god awful?
Come on, it was Evan Dorkin. Did you read the originals? Oh. It's Evan Dorkin. At his best.
Ryan's like, I'm not buying it. I got it right here.
No, actually I haven't. The movie adaptation for part 2.
Yeah, I've never seen this. The art's interesting.
He did Dork and all that other stuff from like the early 80s. He did Milk and Cheese.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, very weird.
It does a good enough job because I remember most of this from the movie.
Station! I bought that at Applause Video.
Applause video. Nice.
Wow.
Brentwood
In
Square.
Papillion.
Brentwood Square?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I got all
Yep.
my... That's where we bootlegged all my GI... I mean, that's where we rented those fine movies
That's right.
that we did not
We did not copy.
dub at all. The Voltron and the G.I.
The
Joe and the
Robotex.
Transformers and... Because that's piracy, and piracy is wrong. Right, Steve Dawes?
That guy who wrote that book is not getting the money for that.
No,
But he's not getting it if I buy it at half price books either, so
No.
it doesn't matter.
doesn't.
All right.
All right.
Enough about international piracy.
Jose!
Just watch Korean TV. They rip everything off. I was like watching, I'm like, is she watching Harry Potter in there? You hear the like noise, and I'm like,
The
nope. That's just something else they're using Harry Potter for. And then I hear something else, I'm like, she's watching Star Wars? Nope. Just rip off sound effects, and then rip off like the sound, like the music.
The
and stuff.
music, the score.
Yeah, international copyright does not mean shit to the Koreans.
They're like, we do what we want. All right, so we're gonna do the next comic we're gonna do is Scooby Apocalypse, number 36,
The final issue.
the final issue. Gonna tell you, I'm gonna probably get a lot of hate from this, but I was not a Scooby-Doo fan.
What?
Nope.
Ouch.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
Were you a Jabberjaw fan?
No.
Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch fan? I'm just trying to think of all the different
Hanna-Barbera.
Josie and the Pussycats.
I like Josie and the Pussycats.
The gonna go solve crimes with my anamorphic dog.
No.
No?
No.
Let's see, Falcon and
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
I like Falcon and Dynamite.
Captain Caveman.
Captain
And
Caveman.
the
I liked
Teen
all-
Angels and
I liked Hanna-Barbera, guys. It's
Laugh
just,
Olympics.
I loved Hanna-Barbera. It's just Scooby-Doo just wasn't my thing.
Charlie Chan and the Chan Clan.
No.
Ha!
Don't
Okay.
remember that one.
No, because it's the most racist of them all.
I liked I'm sorry, guys. I liked Hanna-Barbera, but
It's all right.
I wasn't. Yeah. So
Well.
I'll let you two. I'll chime in when I need to.
I just watched 4 hours of this yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, we bought the season 1.
Season 1, 2 set.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Sophie and I were watching it.
Nice.
Well, I was watching it.
You were
She was
watching.
just like,
She's like
Scooby-Doo!
Scooby-Doo.
And then left.
Just like yesterday. Bumblebee, Bumblebee, Bumblebee. She's dancing, Bumblebee, 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 and then she leaves.
Yep. That's pretty much how she is. All right, so
I'm just curious, before we get into it, what did you guys think of this?
for the last issue, it's just a zombie comic for me.
It was a zombie comic.
It's exactly what it was. I was just kind of curious what the opinions were off.
That's what it was. It was a zombie comic.
That they threw characters that we all know
Yeah.
in there. So it could have been Strawberry Shortcake Apocalypse and it would have been the same
Same
thing.
thing. I
Which
did,
would have been great.
I did dig Shaggy's goatee, though.
Yeah, the art has gradually gone downhill a little bit. There's a couple of places where you're looking at it and you see that they don't really have a face because they're in the background kind of thing. It's just a big tan blur type deal.
Yeah.
The detail on the earlier issues were a lot better, but so Scooby Apocalypse, final issue. So it is a zombie comic essentially, with the Scooby-Doo gang. Earlier in, Fred dies. Now he's back as a zombie type good guy.
He's just full of the nanites, right? Is that
He's
pretty much what he
full of
is?
the
It's just
nanites, yeah.
the nan-
Yeah.
Yeah, he declared his undying love for Daphne and then promptly died.
Yep. He died again.
And the dream hookup that we all wanted, Shaggy and Velma having a kid.
Yep.
The dogs can talk because of the technology that they've inserted in them.
I did think it was funny that Scrappy was like a big, like human
Human.
with a
Yeah.
dog head.
Human, yeah.
Had to work out a little bit. So the Scooby Gang ends up fighting the Nanite King, which was all Velma's fault to begin with because they were trying to make the world a better place and install these nanites, which is what ended up turning everybody into zombies.
Zombie.
The Nanite King actually resembles, from the Scooby-Doo cartoon, there was a Scooby-Doo movie where they went into a video game. The bad guy from that video game was a pretty clear ripoff of that bad guy. But there was no unmasking or anything like that. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping for the big reveal at the end. Or a dream, Scooby ate too much or something. This was just a bad dream or whatever. They go back into the munchie thing. They really didn't talk about munchies throughout the whole thing, but all of a sudden Shaggy and Scooby are all about the munchies again.
It's because they started smoking weed again.
They clearly found weed in the safe haven that they have here.
So I got confused when I started reading this because who's related to who? Is Daphne Velma's sister or is Fred Velma's brother?
None of the above.
No?
No.
I thought there was two Dinkles.
There's three
That's-
Dinkles.
There's 3 Dinkles.
There's the blob Dinkle, Rufus, who...
Rufus Dinkle.
Rufus
a nice
Dinkle.
Name. That's a nice name.
And then there's the other brother. I can't think what his name is.
Who's Daisy?
Daisy is Velma's sister-in-law.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't think about
So-
it that way.
So around issue 20, I think, Velma manages to make it into the gang manages to make it into a city where Rufus, her brother, has control of the city, and he's living in this penthouse with his wife Daisy. Rufus is just a big asshat essentially. Daisy's more than willing to bolt because Rufus ends up dying, so they think, but the nanite technology got into him and he turned into the blob that could talk. And then the other brother shows up at the last 2 issues maybe, and Scrappy was working for him the whole time to keep an eye on Velma and make sure she was safe because she's the only one that can reverse the technology, and they had a safe haven in this other Portland or wherever it was where they were going to go to there. So Velma had 2 brothers. They created this to help go forward in the universe, making the world a better place, and we get the big family reunion there towards the end of the book. But you think Daisy and Daphne would be related, but no, Daisy's just the wife of Rufus.
Okay.
Good question, though. yeah, basically, Fred, who's full of nanites, goes out, hugs the Nanite King, and he's got the reverse technology in him. The Nanite King just dissipates and goes away.
This is not possible!
Exactly. And then everybody that had the nanites in them
dies.
Well, Fred died,
Fred
but
dies.
others went back to being human.
Yeah.
There for a while, they were stationed out in a mall that had the store of J.C. Nickel.
J.C. Nickel, huh? Instead of J.C.
Nice.
Penny?
And there's another one, I think it was a knockoff of Sears. I can't remember what it was.
Beers.
You knew where they were going with it. Yeah, so... And then Velma ends up having the kid. And everybody's a big happy family. So they wrapped this up pretty quickly from about 2 issues ago up to now.
Yeah.
Because it was building towards the next arc and then it got canceled, so they had to do something to wrap it up, I guess. Did you guys notice?
The Adam Ant.
Adam Ant.
Yep.
Thought that was a fun little story. You got to preview or you got to see Nort again.
Yep.
Everybody's favorite Green Lantern.
I don't think they've given him a chance yet. I think he'll really shine coming up.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I think he'll make it. I think he'll be a good lantern.
He's had 30 years to try.
And so they have these backstories. There's Adam Ant. They did Secret Scroll for a little bit. Adam Ant is up against Itty, which is a plant, to get it into the Justice League. Fun little story. Very humorous.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, it was fun. They end up voting Adam Ant in because I know all of you are just dying to know who actually wins. But because Adam Ant is such a good guy, or good ant, I guess, saw that Itty was very disappointed. Yes, the plant was disappointed. So he said, I'm going to pass on the offer, give it to Itty. Itty's like, yeah, forget it. Let's travel the world together, space together, and fight bad guys. So Adam Ant and Itty took off to fight
evil
Evil.
together. The new team up in the DC universe.
So when is this? So I'm reading this like, okay, so Justice League all looks about right? So except for the Atom is Cho,
Yep.
right? And Hawkgirl is Kendra.
Yep.
So was this the 2000s?
2002.
Somewhere in
Somewhere
there.
around there?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm learning.
But Batman is in the blue or the black and yellow.
And
now.
Hal's in there, so and I think no, that was Kyle's before that. So
who knows when this is?
yeah, they
Maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
They gave no
It's just
time
a
frame
fun
on that
little-
whatsoever.
But what's weird, okay, so it says Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement of the Jerry Siegel family.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have to do that for everything
Yes.
Superman? Because now
Yes,
they own all the rights to Superman?
every Superman book you get. You see that at the intro.
I'm going to say one thing. This really bugs me. They created him, not the family.
Right.
You do not own him. It's not the families anymore. It belonged to Jerry and Joe, not Timmy and Susie Jr. It bugs the crap out of me. Go make your own life. Go make your own character. If you want to live off your dad's coattails, that's your problem. Don't take characters away from people who really like those characters.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just, oh, I'm Jack Kirby's grandson, and I want money from Jack Kirby's estate. Fuck you. Go make your own shit. Leave Jack Kirby's stuff to the fans.
You
Yeah.
probably didn't even like going to Grandpa's.
I hate Grandpa Jack. He always drinks and smells like whiskey.
Yeah, and then he died, and I'm like, oh, I love my Grandpa Jack. He was my favorite. Now give me my money.
I don't know.
No, I fully get it. It's a frustrating thing.
It's like hearing, like, if Morty Nodell had kids, and you couldn't get any more Green Lantern because they wanted it to themselves, and they sued DC to get the rights to Green Lantern back. And you couldn't get any more Green Lantern.
Mm.
It'd be a horrible, horrible world. Horrible life.
I probably would have gone after the Pillsbury Doughboy first, but
He does make a little bit more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that just bugs me. Like,
Can you imagine the guy that created Wonder Woman? He created the electric chair as well.
right?
And this execution is sponsored by.
Yeah, they have to announce the name of who created the
He made the lie
electric
detector too.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the lie detector, not the.
Oh,
electric
that's
chair.
what it was. The
That was Thomas
yeah.
Edison.
Okay.
That's right. Edison did make
Yeah.
the electric chair.
He was electrocuting elephants long before the chair was made.
He was kind of a jerk.
Let me show you the power of DC current.
Here,
Here, elephant.
Tesla's wrong. I am right.
Oh, it's dangerous. I'll show you how on this elephant.
All right. Murder Falcon. Got a different cover than I did. That's
Hey,
fantastic.
your cover's different than mine. I think I got the variant. I'm not sure which one was the variant or which one.
You have the variant.
Okay.
The number on the back. The second to last number, is it a 2?
Yes.
Yep, variant. That second to last number tells you if it's a first or a regular variant, and then the last number tells you what print it is.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really like that color. I like how the Murder Falcon logo's made in this one, so I think I'm gonna buy this one.
I love this book. I can't stop reading. I got it originally just because I'm like, okay, this is an idea. Let's see what it's all about. And I enjoy this book way too much.
Do they have the first 6 in a trade paperback?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It should be coming out soon. Some image writers actually take a break and let the book come out, and then they do the next 6 books or whatever. Murder Falcon's been going solid.
I think I want to read the first 6. I think I'm reading this. I was like, this is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool story. I'm like, yeah, I need to read the first 6. Just like with Farmhand, I need to go
Check those out.
I
Right.
have that trade on my tablet, so I'm going to read that one eventually.
Next issue comes out this week.
Yeah.
So Murder Falcon, it is, I guess I call it like Captain Planet for rock stars.
They save the world by playing music.
Yes.
It's awesome.
And when they get the band going together, they're more powerful than the individual by themselves.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty sweet.
So it has been absolutely fun. These creatures are coming over from a different universe, and somehow this band is very much like the Bill and Ted Wild Stallions in the future type deal, where their music creates world peace type thing. This band did one album, and it created this world peace kind of environment, and gave this cyborg falcon creature powers. And the more he hears the music, the more powerful he is. Hence the Captain Planet reference. Yeah, what did you guys think of this?
Well, you know how I am with T-shirts in comic books, right? So
Yep.
if you look on, I think it's page 1, there's a kid wearing a denim jacket with what looks like a Racer X logo on it.
Yes.
But if you zoom in on it, it's not just a Racer X, it's a Dead Kennedys symbol,
Nice.
Oh, wow.
which I thought was really funny. Like,
That's pretty awesome.
but I always look for stupid shit like that in comics. I'm like,
The one thing I wish Image would start doing is a recap.
Yeah.
That way, even, just like a little blurb, what happened.
What happened in the previous issue,
to-
real quick? Yeah.
To let you know what was going on.
Right.
I wish they would start doing that. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. But I love the book.
So, a little bit of backstory. The original band, they end up breaking up because the guitarist and lead singer has cancer. He backs out. He ends up leaving his wife and everything else. And Murph, the Falcon, comes and recruits him. And as he's going, he's running into his old bandmates, and they're starting to play with him, and they create these energy creatures of sorts that come out and fight, and the more they're playing together, the more powerful Murph is, the Falcon. The drum kit guy, when he starts playing his drums, it actually lifts up into the air and has rockets on it, and he can fly around and
Nice.
play. And so it is a very entertaining story. In this issue, they end up someplace else, and the military happens to be involved, and they have a full-blown orchestra that can fight these aliens as well.
I like the leader of the leader of the orchestra. She looks like she's like 5 foot. She's smoking a cigar and she's stomping up like she's Nick Fury.
She reminds me a little bit of
She's the one with the keytar, right?
Yeah, with the guitar.
Yeah.
who is the one that had the Morlock? Was it the Morlocks in the X-Men down in the sewers?
Callisto.
Callisto, yeah.
When I looked at that, I'm like, oh, that's kind of looks like Callisto to me.
It does, yeah.
But the guitar gets broken, so there's an issue there. They end up going to find a guy that can fix these items. He fixes this guitar.
Which is funny because he doesn't just put a new neck on it.
No.
Because it's a solid guitar.
Yeah.
Like it's all on one piece, so he has to rebuild the neck somehow. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, they really
Like,
didn't get into that at all.
Because it's like that's a lot of resins and shit trying to reconnect that. What?
And he did it rather quickly.
Yeah,
Right.
He's
They
like,
just had like a little argument or a little talk, and then I'm done.
I'm done. Here you go.
This is my greatest work ever. Really?
Ah, the magnificent world of comic books.
And when the orchestra starts playing, they get a samurai creature that pops up.
Yep.
It's always kind of cool to see which creatures are going to show up when they start playing instruments.
Okay, so the Falcon,
Yeah.
Murphy.
Yes.
What is he?
He's a murder falcon.
He's a
I
murder.
get that he's a murder falcon. But everybody on this planet's human, right?
Yes.
So where did he come from?
He's from that alternate
Ah,
universe as
okay.
well. And they're starting to cross over. That's why he came over.
Okay. This needs a soundtrack.
Yes.
It really, really, truly does.
yes.
It's
Because just reading... It's just not the same.
it is an amazing book. It's Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer that are doing this, and it has just been fun all the way through. There's a little bit of humor in it. There's the serious notes with the fighting the cancer thing and getting re-involved with his friends and everything. And
You're quickly making me a fan of Image again. I kind of dropped out, and now
there's
reading these books. I'm like, I'm starting to become a fan again.
there is some fantastic stuff out there if people just give it a chance.
He has a book called Space Mullet.
Space Mullet.
I have not heard this one.
Somebody in the letters column was like, I just read Space Mullet.
I need to find Space
And
Mullet.
it too was awesome.
Space Mullet, okay.
We need to find Space Mullet.
Can we find Space Mullet?
It is Dark Horse, and it is available in trade. Let's see, ex-Space Marine Jonah and his co-pilot Alpheus rove the galaxy trying to get by. Drawn into one crazy adventure after another, they forge a crew of misfits into a family and face the darkest parts of the universe together. Space Mullet. That sounds interesting. I may have to try to track that down.
It's $10.99 on Comixology. That's not a bad price.
Probably a 4 or 5 issue book.
Yeah.
They usually keep those pretty cheap.
So the band's called Bruticus.
Bruticus.
Is that what it's
Bruticus. That's a cool name. It's not Liquid Shits level, but, Bruticus is awesome.
No.
We still need to make shirts, Nick.
Yeah. I'm about to just pay somebody just to design them.
Just to make them, and then
Yeah.
we can walk around with Liquid Shits t-shirts
Yep.
on. I like these guys before. You don't even know who these guys are, man.
The 1994 tour.
Wasn't it 87? And we were going to do the
That's right.
Liquid Shits
It was the 80s
and the Chocolate Flex. Or
86 and the Chocolate Flick.
or something like
Yeah.
that as their opener.
Yeah. What, you don't remember them? They
I-
played here.
They played here. See, they're right here. It says Omaha, Nebraska right here.
It'll be Ralston. They play Ralston in '86.
In '86 in some
Like the park.
the park right there. It was that. What was there? Lakeview Golf Course. They played the golf course. That's where Ralston Arena is.
Or
now.
the Boy Scout Pine Box Derby race track.
The Soapbox Derby.
Yeah.
Seymour Smith Park.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. They played Seymour Smith, man.
Seymour Smith.
They had like 150,000 people there that day. You missed out on a hell of a show, man. So, all right. Highly recommend Murder Falcon.
Yes.
I'm going to give it a... we're going out of 5, right? 5
Yep.
stars. I think once I read the other ones, it'll be a 5. But right now, I'll give it about a 3 to a 4.
I agree.
You agree?
Probably about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I do have to read the other ones, but there's something very reminiscent about an old Xbox game where it was voiced by Jack Black, where
Okay.
he was a metal hero, and he had the power to shred, and they
Okay.
were fighting demons.
All right.
So it kind of reminds me of that.
Is that what?
Yeah.
That's
Is
the
it
kind
based
of
off
vibe.
of Tenacious D stuff? Because that
Never-
sounds
I don't
very
remember
much
that
like
game.
the greatest song in the world.
Play the best sound
what it is,
in
yeah.
the world. Didn't know that the devil was
Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl until like later on. I was like, oh man,
Brutal Legend.
brutal legend. All right.
And I'm a firm 4.5 on it. I
4.5.
love this book.
Like I said,
I look
it'll
forward to
it'll
it.
probably be a 4.5, 5 once I read the other 6 issues. Because I like this one,
Yeah.
even though I was a little lost in it. But I'm pretty sure if they're like this, I'm
And it's
gonna
just big.
enjoy it.
So the last issue was the end of the first story arc. So just going into this one, I thought it might be a little easier to digest a little bit.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it.
No,
No,
it
no.
was awesome. It was,
I just
it was
want
a
to
good
know
book.
more about it.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah. Does he do? I was a little disappointed that we only got certain, like, what was it, like one panel of Murph
Going nuts.
going nuts.
Yeah.
Does he go nuts a lot more in the book?
He does. Yeah.
That's the only critique I might have of it, is that I wanted to see him go all Murder Falcon.
Yeah. He.
What?
Hence the name.
First issue jumps right into it.
Okay.
And then it's kind of where he's finding the rest of the band and finding out they have powers too. And so you're seeing a little bit less of it, but that first issue is what grabs you and
Okay.
drags you in. You're
All
like,
right.
oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. This will probably be one of them that I keep reading.
You know what it reminds me? It reminds me of what's the old MTV cartoons that were on at night?
Liquid Television.
Yeah, something off of that.
What was her name?
Aeon Flux.
Yeah, I loved Aeon Flux, where she died every episode.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that from a little. I don't know why, but it draws me in.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this book. So, we decided that we're just going to do a quick one tonight, but every once in a while we're going to do a review of a movie based on a comic book, which they don't make any really anymore.
Not at all.
We don't have one like every other month. Like Star Wars, I got a free copy on Vudu of Aquaman from a friend. And I sat down and I watched it this weekend. And Nick had said, I will reserve my judgment until you have seen it. So I thought we'd discuss a little bit about what we thought about it. So I'll let Aquaman expert go first.
All right, so I really love the revamp of Aquaman that they just did. Probably around the New 52 era.
Jeff Johns run.
The Jeff Johns run was
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like when you first meet Arthur, he's in a bar up in Maine, right?
Just like the movie?
Just like the movie, and some guy comes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, you the guy that talks to fish?"
Okay.
And they get the joke out right away,
Yeah.
like in the movie. But in the movie, they become buddies. Like they're drinking and they get pictures and selfies and stuff.
So they made it a little different.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, so what's it like being everybody's least favorite superhero? And, yeah. And if you know Aquaman, he's 6'5", 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Ruler of 90% of the water, like, you know, the oceans, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's bulletproof. He's strong as Superman. And some little twerp has enough galls to call him, you know, the worst superhero ever.
Yeah. Dude, Aquaman sucks.
And he's like, Aquaman's just eating fish. And he's like, isn't that one of your friends? And like, he just won't shut up.
Okay.
And it's just like, doesn't he just get up and just was like,
Yeah, he just basically walks out.
Yeah, he
It's
just
some
walks
kind
out
of
of the room.
emergency
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
and it's just like, damn, you know? Because if you would say that to
Superman be like, you're gone.
right, pretty much, like,
Oh, you're cute. Where's your parents?
right, something like that.
Why don't you come back when you grow a pair?
But then, like, in the book, they go and they meet, like, they have to go to the trench, right? And the
Mhm.
trench shows up, and I was just like, this is so Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
You know?
It's not even funny, because there's underwater elves and there's underwater demons in Dungeons and Dragons, just like this. And I was really hoping that that's where they would go with the movie, and they did. I was like, really surprised. There's 2 parts of the movie that take me out of it.
2? You just said 1.
Okay, so 1 is Aquaman's the only Atlantean that can command animals, right? He doesn't talk to them, he commands them. Let's get that straight, right? So he doesn't have conversations with them. There's a scene where they show up and there is an octopus playing the drums.
Yeah. What's wrong with
And
Did
that?
somebody train the octopus to play the drums?
How do you know?
It happens in Hanna-Barbera all the time.
Right! And-
Star Wars, you've got people playing jazz.
It's an octopus. It's not a super
So is
intelligent
one of
octopus.
So is one of the guys playing in the jazz bar in Star Wars.
But that is an intelligent alien species.
Wait, I mean, couldn't he just say, hey, beat these bongos and...
But it was like a callback for the 1960s Aquaman.
Yeah.
Where every time he would be in trouble, he would call some like weird Disney-fied fish.
Yep.
And like giant-eyed octopus would always come to help him. Like if you look at the books, they're just ridiculously stupid-looking fish that always help him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one that took me out. Second one was Ocean Master's helmet. It's
Okay.
metal, but his chin strap moves.
I didn't catch that.
I didn't either.
Yep, it moves. And it's like, it looks really CGI. And Black Manta, they got perfect.
Yeah. I thought the helmet looked good. Now that I know the chin strap moves.
It
how it
moves. Like,
Maybe I'm just the only one who just doesn't really care.
I don't know. Some of the effects looked really, really bad.
Some of them, but
I thought the first few minutes where they're doing the
The
build-
council under the water, when they're like Ocean Master and Dolph Lundgren, were just
yeah, it took me a second to realize that was Dolph Lundgren.
That was Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah. King Nereus?
Yes.
Is that what his name was? Nereus?
Did not catch that at all.
Yeah, it took me a second, and then I was like listening to his voice, and I'm like, I know who that is.
And just watching them, like, okay, so there's 4 things that take me out of this movie.
My God, I actually really loved it.
The de-aging
Okay.
of Jango Fett
Oh, yeah.
looked really bad.
Okay, yeah. No, that's the part I was talking about at the very beginning.
His mom looked horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, one thing I do hate is cosplayers. I used to be a cosplayer, and I'll tell you what. You guys cannot make costumes for anything but things from movies, and that drives me nuts. Every time I see somebody like, oh, I'm going to make an Aquaman. You didn't make an Aquaman for fucking 40 years before this. You decide to make one now because there's a movie based on it. Because there's a pattern out there that you can go online and download.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
You-
'Cause I actually really like the movie.
I've seen so many costumes for Mara that it drives me nuts. It's like, if anybody was going to make a costume off of this movie, it'd be Aquaman's mom when she shows up with the trench Atlantean's face mask on,
Yeah,
with the scales and the ripped up things and
the ribs on the
all
front,
the
on the chest,
accoutrements on her jacket, like,
And
you know.
the bones
Yeah.
on her chest.
But no, everybody's going to make this green Mara suit. And it's like, okay, fine. Like when the Avengers Endgame preview came out. They have the white suits, like for going into
space.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ever look at how many cosplayers have made that suit before the movie came out, they're like, well, I'm just going to make this because everybody else is making it. It's like, you don't even know if that's real part of the movie yet.
Or if it's
because
just
Marvel has
promotional.
even said that there's parts of the preview that aren't in the movie.
It could be just promotional.
So you have wasted your time making a suit that's not even going to be out.
Okay.
Sorry, that's just my rant on cosplayers.
I really like the movie.
Sorry, I made an Ultron before and there was an Ultron.
I know you did. And your Ultron is better than the one that's in the movie.
God. So, that's my rant. Aquaman, I didn't mind it. I wish it was Namor.
But then
he's got a better story.
And then his mom would be evil.
I really kind of want to see
I was expecting mom to be evil. I thought I was watching Namor.
I don't know, because if you read old Namor, like, his mom is not attractive to humans. I want to see this decrepit old lonely lighthouse keeper bang this ugly ass blue fish thing and like create Namor.
Wow. Okay. I thought
that would be great. He's just drunk and like, bang anything.
Well, yeah.
Catches her in a net and is like, I'll do this like a manatee.
I didn't. I did notice some similarities in the movie. When they're going into Atlantis, those scenes were pretty. I like the special effects when they're going into Atlantis and you see all the beautiful colors.
Yeah.
And the score for the movie is fantastic.
I thought so.
That score was awesome. And I'm like, okay, the thing I hate is, why do these movies have to have two goddamn villains in it?
That's Batman Returns. That has always been since Batman Returns.
Two fucking villains in it. Black Manta was like one of his main enemies, right? I don't know too much. I'm coming at this from a different perspective because I've read 2 Aquaman comic books in my entire life. So I guess I just saw it as a movie. A popcorn movie.
Right.
You know? I was able to detach because I had never... Teresa was like, I want to hear what Nick's opinion of the movie is. And I'm like, the way he made that face at me when I said I was going to watch it, I don't think it was going to be good.
And also, when I met Jason Momoa, he wasn't exactly the most accommodating guy.
Yeah. She thought he did a really good job.
He did. And I'll say that. I'm like, maybe it was he had a bad day.
Yeah. Just like...
Because it was Dragon Con, and there
Chris
was like...
Claremont on a bad time.
It was Dragon Con. There's 160,000 people there.
Yeah.
I can see, like, you're just getting tired of signing your autograph for people.
Give a guy a pass. Was it on a Sunday you saw him? Or
it was on a Saturday.
Okay, so it was...
He could have been exhausted then.
Could have been exhausted at that
He just came back from lunch, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Still.
But still, I'm paying you for an autograph. You can at least say hi to me.
Yeah, you can say hi. I was surprised. I was like, okay. Because
I was a huge fan from him, like from Atlantis.
Yeah, when we went to when we met Claremont, I was like, if I say hi to you and you don't say hi back, I'm gonna fucking hate you forever. You know. So I get it. You know. I just wish, because I like Black Mantis, but they kind of rushed his character and didn't build his arc and didn't.
Welcome to DC.
I know, that's what I'm like. This is so DC.
Yeah, he's a great character.
They spent more time building Ocean Master than they did Black Manta.
But I think they're going to go more into Black Manta in the sequel. I mean, they set that up perfectly for it.
I will put this up there with Wonder Woman. I liked it that much.
I absolutely agree with that.
I liked it that much. I said this is the second best DC movie I've seen ever. Besides Batman 89.
We'll talk about that later.
You don't like Batman 89? You got a problem with 89?
Okay, so Batman hates guns, right?
Of course.
What does he try to do to the Joker in the street?
He shoots guns at him.
He shoots guns at him.
Yes, I know.
Not just any guns. 50 caliber machine guns.
Yes, I know. They had... Yeah, I know.
He wanted to get nuts.
Yeah, right.
He was like, you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Right? Going back to Aquaman. I liked, is it Mera or Mira?
Mira.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I liked her power better than, I loved
Yes.
her powers. Her powers are sweet.
She's
Yeah.
a complete psycho.
How she can manipulate
Which
the
is
water,
awesome.
manipulate the water to do whatever she wants. And I really was waiting for Willem Dafoe to turn
Yep.
on Aquaman. Because you're watching it and it's like Willem Dafoe's in this movie.
He's turning.
He's turning. He's a bad guy because he's got that I'm a bad guy face.
Right,
He
and I
looks
kept-
like a villain.
I kept getting like Submariner and Aquaman confused because there's one of the Grand Viziers that turns his back on Namor.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is that him? Is that Vashti? Is that blah, blah, blah? I'm like, oh God, I'm getting confused.
I
I
well,
did that several times through that
going
movie,
going back to where they were going into Atlantis. I was like, hey, a bridge. Where's the Bifrost?
Exactly.
I was like,
And
it's
it was multicolored.
so when I was saying it's Water Thor, I was like, it truly is Water Thor. But
he had to go get his-
Aquaman come out before Thor, so
he just had to go get his magic trident, not his magic
not
hammer.
his magic hammer. I was like, those were the similarities I was noticing after watching all these movies. I was like, wow, it's an underwater Asgard. Nice. So,
I loved how they had the humor in it. I thought that was great.
yeah,
Love when they have put a little bit of character into the characters a little bit.
there was just enough.
But
It wasn't overdone.
yeah, they made him a little bit of a smart ass. I think that
That was
really
cool
good.
too. I like that.
So the visual is based off of Peter David's run,
Mm-hmm.
but the script is based off of John's.
Jeff
Yep.
Johns. Yeah, I was shocked. I was happy actually when I saw that Jeff Johns had helped write the. I was like, well, they're learning. They're getting people who actually wrote him
He's in charge of Warner Brothers
involved.
movie
Yeah,
franchise, right?
Yeah.
He was involved with Green Lantern as well.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure not at the degree he was in this
so
one.
No.
I'm in the minority
No,
with that one too, as we discussed in a previous episode.
but no, you're bringing up how he communicates with fish, but there's a couple of points where he was actually talking to the whale,
Yeah,
and they had a conversation with that
What, the Pinocchio
squid
scene?
thingy.
the
Yes.
Pinocchio scene. Yeah,
Mm.
every
Yes.
movie's gonna have some cringe moments.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, okay,
this is going to sound
Alright.
completely. My favorite part of that whole movie though was where they were at the fountain and they give the girl the coin.
I
and
love that part
I
where
was
she,
like,
she
this
made the
is
fish
awesome.
dance
I-
around and do all this. I was like, that's so awesome.
yeah,
You know, it's awesome. And then she gives her the book of Pinocchio. That was funny.
There's a lot of Pinocchio references.
Yeah.
oh wait, this is a book. I want to see the cartoon or the movie.
I like when she's like, didn't you memorize when they're talking to, and she's like, I memorized it when she destroys the whatever it was. And she's like,
Can
Yep.
you get it?
didn't you get it? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah,
Something
what'd he
blah,
say? Blah, 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 something, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was Trident or something like that.
And when
So-
they were going through the building, or they're fighting through the building, and Black Manta takes them through that one wall, and he's like, "Excuse me," and
Mi scusi. Yeah, I was like, oh, Euro trip. Mi scusi, mi scusi.
there's just enough humor in it to keep you awake on it, and they didn't. There wasn't a lot of lull. I didn't think there was a
No,
lot
there
of
wasn't.
downtime.
I didn't
on any of
didn't
it where
ever
you got
get
bored.
I never got bored. I was,
Yeah,
and I think DC's getting better. Hopefully.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Black Manta's dad
Yes.
got stuck under an I-beam in a submarine.
It was a bomb.
That was
It was a missile. Torpedo.
so this boat sinks,
Mhm.
right? Couldn't they have just waited, put a mask on him, and waited for it to go down, and then move the barricade off of his leg,
I thought the same thing.
just fill it with water, go down, and then they're taking a submarine anyway to go attack
Well,
the conference.
that wouldn't build drama and build the hatred for Aquaman.
I guess. But
I thought that was a crappy move.
But it was a crappy move.
Right.
It's like, no, you killed people. Forget you.
Yeah. You killed innocent people. I'm out.
Then you should have been helping Superman in Justice League.
Right.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I made a mistake. Like, no, you made a huge mistake. You
Yeah.
should have just killed them both.
Yep. So.
The oceanographer, or whatever his name was, at the end of the movie. Who is that supposed to be? Somebody I'm supposed to know?
Oceanographer.
The guy that was on the TV yelling about Aquaman and how Atlantis exists, and then Black Manta's laid up, and
When did this happen? Was I supposed to watch the credits?
yes,
Well, shit. I'll
It's
have to go
that,
watch the end credits then, because I turned it off because my daughter was like, I want to watch Bumblebee. I'm like, okay, let's watch Bumblebee.
Yeah, it might. There are some scientists that aren't exactly on his side, if I remember right. So,
Okay, go back and watch that. All right, got it.
it's a brief 3-minute thing.
And I thought I should have sat through the credits, but I was like, this isn't Marvel.
It's right after the
apparently Shazam has him in it too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They don't go to the extent that Marvel does, where they go all the way to the very end credit.
Okay.
But this was right after the primary credits.
Okay. So, what would you give it out of 5 stars, Nick? You're going to give it a 1, aren't you?
For what it is,
If you just detach yourself...
I know. I'm just thinking, okay, so I'm just going to rate it on DC level.
Okay.
Movies. It's a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
It's not quite Batman Begins, which I think is probably one of the best ones they've ever done.
The Batman Begins was pretty good out of all 3 of those movies.
Yeah, 4.
4?
3.5.
I'm going to go 4.5. Just because I had no idea about the character really at all until... I know you have a bunch. That's why I had you go first. And he's one of the ones that I actually want to start reading into. Because all I've ever heard was, you watch The Big Bang Theory and they're going as the Justice League.
Nobody wants to be
No
Aquaman.
one wants to be Aquaman. Dude, Aquaman sucks.
As I always say, that's because you haven't read an Aquaman comic since the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea who that character is.
I think the
so
one...
every time somebody's at a con and they're like, hey, and he talks to fish. I'm like, ugh.
They're doing that based off of the Super Friends,
Right.
and
You haven't seen anything
Yeah.
with him in it
So,
since the 70s or 80s.
I think the 2
You probably
comics...
should read something new.
The new comics I've read are from the New 52.
that's Jeff Johns' run.
2 of them that I've read it. If I remember right, they were New 50. Does he have long hair in the New 52?
No.
Or is that after?
That he had
Or is
long
that
hair
before?
before. So that's
Okay,
Peter
so
David.
the ones that I
The
read,
Peter David ones were still pretty good, though.
Yeah,
the 2 I read were Peter David then. So,
yeah.
Even
no,
the one, Times and Tide, is really good. And sometimes, even in the blue aqua suit, it looks stupid, but they're actually pretty good stories. The Dungeons and Dragons influenced Aquaman,
yeah.
where he's the sword and sorcery character, those are pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
the
a
Jeff
huge
Johns
Aquaman
is
fan.
probably.
I can't deny it, but even the Pat Gleason run
Mhm.
was also really good.
Okay.
But he does have a hook for a hand.
Well, you do
That's
have a ton of
something,
Aquaman,
yeah.
so I
Well,
think
he
once
has a water hand. Sorry.
I'm done with the one I got now, I'll start reading some of the Aquaman stuff.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of good stuff with Aquaman. I started getting into him with the Jeff Johns run because to me, Jeff Johns, everything he touches turns to gold. As far as writing.
all right, guys. So that's a good time to end it. If you guys like what you hear, give us a follow, leave us a comment, follow us on Twitter. So eventually, we'll have our own Twitter handle. Might
You
create.
need to make one.
I'll create it. I'll make one. Because I want to start doing polls and stuff like that, and try to get you guys more involved. Read more comics. That'll do it for this week.
Yeah, go read some more Aquaman, guys that only think that he talks to fish.
Yeah, read some Aquaman. I'm gonna read some Aquaman here.
There's nothing's worse than that guy at a con. It's like, he only talks to fish.
I found it.
Well, he's got the wings on his feet too.
Right, and a flat top?
It usually takes a movie to get me to read the comic books because it gets me interested in the character. And then I get a deeper knowledge of the character outside of what they give you in the movies.
Right.
So, this has been Kirk.
And Nick.
Ryan.
Oh, and if you think that Hawkeye is married to some girl in Kansas, you need to read a comic book too. It's not only like believe everything you see in a movie. All right.
All right.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.